Hello and welcome to. Actually, this isn't Component Carousel. It's just the front end horse stream. I'm so used to saying Component Carousel, but welcome to the front end horse stream. This is just a chill, nice, relaxed little stream. We don't have a ton planned. If you look at today's steps, there's not a lot going on. I really just wanted an excuse to have George on because George is a delightful, delightful person. George, thank you for coming on and hanging out with us. How you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on, man. It's
Yeah, of course.
good to be here hanging out.
Yeah, honestly, I'm gonna just have any excuse to have you on where I'm just like, oh no, George, I got this issue where I need generative art to solve it, and yeah, I'm just gonna get you on for any little tiny reason. We got a lighten up chat. The chat is lighting up. I'm gonna go with. Let's try that. We got Aaron, we got Charlie, we got Leah, we got Andrea. Great to see all of you. Aaron says he's a big fan of your work.
Oh, thank you, Aaron. That's lovely.
I am absolutely the same. I think we talked the last time you came up on this stream was because Cassie was in the chat, and we got into a fight, a real fight over who knew you first, and I lost handily. I was like, oh well, I found his CodePen, like months ago. She's like, Doug, I introduced him to CodePen, and I'm like, all right, you might have won.
Yeah, it's true. Cassie did kind of in a roundabout way introduce me to CodePen. I think I did a VBox, the VBox newsletter that she does with Louis. I did an entry for that. I don't know, maybe the beginning of the year, and that was kind of my first little introduction to CodePen. And now I'm
pull up your CodePen. Not showing your desktop and two people.
There it is.
Yeah, so I've got your site up because you just released, I think today, right, a brand new article. You have been, and I'm gonna brag a little bit. I get kind of sneak peeks on some of George's stuff sometimes, and I'm pretty. It honestly makes my day when I get to see like here's what I'm working on kind of thing from George, because it's always so cool. Aaron says, the work you've been doing this year makes me miss running developer conferences. A few years earlier, I'd have been contacting you right away to come speak at an event.
Oh, well, thank you very much. That'd be lovely, wouldn't it? I mean, I've been thinking about that a little bit. I definitely will try and do something when that's a thing again. So that's pretty awesome to hear.
That's fantastic.
That someone would be, that someone would think that would be cool. So thank you so much, Aaron. That's really cool.
Yeah, that's super kind. But also, I'm right there with you. If I ran developer conferences, I would not only like have George speak there, I'd probably be, because like developer conferences always need like graphics for like the waiting time. Like, oh, Leah, didn't you do some stuff with that? I know Alithia did, but Leah in chat might have done some too. Or did you do some work that was inspired by? I remember going through your CodePen and seeing something that was like inspired by a conference or something. I could be totally making that up, so I apologize if I'm wrong there. But just kind of back to the point of like conferences need those graphics, and I think generative art is super cool for that kind of thing where it's just like you can watch it for like 20 minutes and it's still interesting because of all the different combinations that you can kind of endless iterations, right?
Oh, that would be nice, wouldn't it? Like between speakers or something, if you had like really nice kind of slowly modulating graphics or something rather than just sort of a video loop or whatever. That'd be super cool. Yeah, exactly. That's a great idea.
Let me actually just see if I can find Alithia's real quick. ILITHYA. Is it Alithia or Alithia Rocks? Okay.
Look at that. Rocks.
Oh, so it's her featured thing. So it's exactly what I'm thinking of.
Oh, wow.
She did a multi-screen mural for JSConf in 2019. So like, just imagine this across like, maybe 6 big screen TVs at a big conference hall, right?
Yeah,
that sort of thing. So like I can definitely see some stuff like this or some of your stuff across like big panels, and just the appeal of generative art is there. We got a couple of comments. Must be meant to read this today. Just saw Cassie's retweet too. Howdy, gents, putting the coffee on and hanging out this morning. Welcome. Nice. Yeah, we're just chatting.
Good morning.
Any excuse to have George on. And Nat says next Gen Con for everything is generative. Ooh, I would join twice.
Cool.
That's a really really cool idea. I love that.
Yeah, that would be great.
So real quick, in case anyone's not familiar with generative art, or actually with you also, do you want to introduce both yourself and the concept of generative art, maybe?
Yeah, I can certainly give it a go.
At least to
Well,
yourself. I mean, I'm not
yeah,
sure
I
which is
can.
harder, right? Like the concept of generative art or summing yourself up in 2 sentences. Both pretty tough.
The latter is
Yeah,
harder, I'd say. No, I'm George, and
you're
I
doing great.
am yeah, that part is definitely correct. I am George, and I'm a UI developer and huge generative art weirdo that makes lots of generative stuff on CodePen. I usually try and do stuff that's generative work that's a bit more rooted in, I guess you could say, design rather than some generative art is like really complex and beautiful and artsy, and that's amazing. But I can't really do that very well. So my stuff tends to be more kind of like trying to be practical in some way and a little bit more rooted in yeah, some kind of functional design, I suppose, that you could hopefully
Yeah.
use on a website or whatever. That's usually what I try and work on. I like uh, curved edges and colors and SVG, and that's kind of my thing. If you were listening to that, wondering what on earth generative art is, and I would say generative art is really any art that is created with an element of chance. Really, it doesn't have to be made on a computer like this. You could do it with a paintbrush and a dice if you like. You could, for example, you could have a canvas and a dice and a paintbrush, and you could roll the dice. And if the dice says one, you paint a blue stripe. If dice says two, you paint a red stripe, and kind of carry on like that. That's really all it is. It's just design and art
It's just a lot
created with.
faster when you have the computer roll that dice and paint, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of the example I always use
Yeah,
because
it's good.
it kind of makes sense. But the computer is great because it can do it really really quickly, which you can get kind of more like this one, like more emergent behaviors and whatnot starting to come through.
And then so like that's the rolling the dice part, but then like deciding the rules of it, like you said, like if it's a one, it's red, if it's two, it's blue. Like
Yeah,
this is kind of like changing the rules where it's like you're saying
yeah,
like if it's two, it's actually green now, right? Like it
for sure.
yeah.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I like making this kind of thing. I don't know who it is. I think it's a design agency called, I want to say, Balkan Brothers. They use
Okay.
these. I sort of got this from a lot of their designs. They use these kind of
Nice.
like flow field grids in a lot of their backgrounds. I really like that stuff. They're quite prolific on Dribble. Definitely go and check them out if you've got a moment. They do some pretty cool work.
That's really cool. Um,
Yeah.
Aaron says there's a lot of generative art conferences, though most of it comes from hacking auto electronics and game consoles rather than web tech. That's interesting. Are you familiar with
Yeah.
that?
Nope.
Yeah,
No, not really.
I didn't know that, Aaron. Thanks for
It
that.
sounds
That sounds really
cool
cool.
though.
Yeah,
Yeah, totally.
I
Yeah,
could
that
definitely
sounds
see
very
that
cool.
with like all the limitations of like old 8-bit consoles. Definitely provide a fun playground there, right?
Mm, that sounds really cool.
Cool. So you came out with this, and I'm just opening a billion tabs. That's just what I do. You came out with this new article today called "Building Generative Grid Layouts with Quad Trees," and we were going to have you on anyway. It's just perfect that you probably had this done for weeks, but you were hanging on to it for the right moment, right?
Yeah, this is all part of this is all part of the official press release.
This is perfect. Yeah, your PR lady called me, and
Yeah,
she was hounding me. I had totally different plans
insistent.
today. She's like, "You're putting George on. You're gonna kiss his butt for 20 minutes. Say he's a really nice guy." And
Yeah.
no, it's great.
She's great. Very efficient.
She's very professional. Yeah. No, so this is so yeah. Do you want to kind of explain what this article talks through, and let me drop this into the chat? Um,
Yeah, for sure. So this idea I kind of got from, there's a design agency called Pentagram who you might have heard of. I have a link to them in the chat, and I have in the article, and I have yeah, that's there. They're an amazing
Yeah, they're one of the
agency, and
top in the world.
super good. And I saw this a couple of years ago, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. They're using quad trees to generate grid layouts. And then I kind of just forgot about it for a while. And then I picked it back up a couple of days ago, and I was like, oh, this is quite cool. And so, yeah, I started writing an article about it. And essentially, what it is, I'm not sure. Yeah, so this is their kind of program that they made to do it.
Yeah,
It's
that's
not
cool.
publicly available, but
Even the
there's
UI
like a,
is gorgeous. Look at that. Like they
yeah,
have
it's cool, right?
an internal tool to make these graphics, and
Yeah,
man, that is a nice looking UI.
yeah, it's very nice. Like all of their stuff is super cool. That's a quad tree there. Yeah,
Cool.
yeah. So this technique is basically using a data structure called a quad tree, which is absolutely not designed for this purpose really at all, but using it to kind of do something pretty and cool and that looks nice. And so what a quad tree is I think of it kind of like a container. So you can put points in the quad tree, and then once the quad tree fills up with a certain amount of points, it kind of divides itself into four more quad trees. And then once they fill up with a certain amount of points, they divide themselves into four quad trees. So it's kind of like kind of recursive in a way. You could kind of think of it like
Okay.
that. But it just so happens that you can kind of play on that and plop some points in like a space and subdivide the space into rectangles, and then use those rectangles as grid areas to kind of create really nice grids for designs, and then you can put whatever you like in there really. Like in this example, it's quite a simple one. I'm just putting some shapes in there, but you could get way more complex with it. And the other cool thing is rather than just dropping shapes, sort of biased random points in, you can actually read sort of the pixel values from an image and use an image to base your grid off. And I do that a little bit later on.
Yeah.
So that, yeah, I think so. Yeah, so in this example, I took the classic sort of Fibonacci spiral
This is the
golden
only way
ratio
that you can
thing.
make a good logo. Every good logo has about 30 of these packed in it somewhere.
Right.
So for the chat, if
You got to do it.
yeah. So Apple logo, golden. I'm sure that'll come up with enough.
Oh, is that one as wait? Is that one as well?
No, I
Did they
mean,
do?
like kind of like
Wow. Yeah.
everyone. It's kind of a famous thing that if a logo is good, people will go in and like backwards fit things
Yeah.
into it.
Yeah,
Like look at all this. Like you could draw a billion circles on someone's face and be like, look how perfectly symmetrical they are,
yeah.
right?
Right. Yeah.
Like people just love doing this sort of thing where it's like, look, it's really the golden ratio, and of course they
Whoa.
right like, okay, neat,
It's
but
pretty
yeah. So
cool.
it's kind of like this. It's a bit of a joke in some design circles where it's like you're making a logo, better get that golden ratio out. Like you
Gotta do it.
better prepare. But anyway, um,
Well, with this, you can just plug that golden ratio straight in.
and
It's right there for you.
it becomes
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
perfect piece
So,
of
oh yeah,
art.
there we go.
There
So,
you go.
if you scroll up a little bit,
A little
you
bit.
can see that I convert the image into lots of little points, and I
Got
put
it.
them on the canvas, and then the quad tree subdivides, based around where those points are, and then you just have lots of grid areas that you can plop stuff in, and then you can use it to create. Annoyingly, that's really not very pretty generation,
Yeah,
but
that's always
you
the issue.
can.
Is like, yeah, that's
Oh,
pretty cool.
that's a nice one. Yeah, you can kind of use it
There you go.
to do cool stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, my examples here are really basic. It's just squares and circles.
But this is cool.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
this is just HTML and CSS, but you can then use it to do generative CSS grid code and whatnot, which I don't know what you could use it for. Something pretty cool, I think.
Like a
Maybe
generative newspaper layout is just a really neat
yeah,
idea, right? Like, or just like
yeah,
magazine layouts that are just completely different every time you click or whatever. That's
yeah.
just a
Like
fun idea.
exactly, or like an image gallery or something. So you sort of
Yeah.
hit the homepage of some kind of editorial site, and maybe each time or every n times you get a different grid of cool new stuff to look at or something
Yeah.
like that. It's just sort of a bit of a different way of looking at design, really. Obviously, there's kind of concerns that come with it. You can't just go around making everything generative and having things
I
be
mean,
all
you're
kinds of crazy
trying,
sizes.
George. You're giving it your all, but
I'm giving it a good go. But yeah, it's kind of all about like randomness within safe constraints, really. You don't
right.
want to be going too mad,
You
but
set the
like
guardrails up and then let it just
yeah,
kind of bounce around the walls.
yeah, yeah. Like on my site, I kind of do that a little bit, where all of the like the headers and stuff on all the articles, they're random, so they're always sort of kind of slightly different when you refresh, and that's a place where you can afford to do that.
Yep.
Like if that goes wrong, then nice, someone did. I don't know what that means, but I think it's good, right?
It's wonderful. Andy, welcome. You are a horse. Thank you for following. Really appreciate it.
Nice.
Tanner, welcome. Welcome. And Aaron has dropped us a couple links. I trust Aaron,
Oh,
so I'm
cool.
going to click these. Aaron is a trustworthy person. This is cool. Paper Apps Dungeon, pocket-sized, spiral-bound, randomly generated paper adventures. George,
That sounds cool. I like that.
that
That's
sounds
awesome.
really fun.
Yeah,
I'm
this is
creating a
great.
procedurally generated pencil and paper dungeon you can easily carry in the back pocket of your jeans. Are you
Brilliant.
into any of those kinds of games where the like the layouts like they're rogue lights or rogue likes where the entire like playthrough is randomized. So every time you
Oh,
play it, like have you played Hades?
no, I'm not really a big
Gotcha.
gamer, to be honest. I'm not
You,
too,
I mean, except for one.
except for one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I play one game quite a
Yeah.
lot. But yeah, in terms of like that kind of thing, I'm not too familiar. But that sounds really really cool. Like the idea of doing like generative,
Yeah.
like
So
physical games is really
yeah, the
awesome.
physical
That's
game
super
aspect is
cool.
cool. There
Yeah.
there are definitely a bunch of games where I mean like essentially anytime you shuffle a game, it's generative, right? Like it's like you are because there's definitely
Yeah.
games where you shuffle like the board pieces. I think Catan is even like that if I'm remembering correctly, or that one might be a bit more set in its ways. But there's definitely games
Okay.
where you shuffle all of like the board tiles, and so you have a different board every single time you play, and so it just kind of changes it up. In games like
That's cool.
Hades and Dead Cells and Slay the Spire and lots of the others one or lots of these other ones, randomization is a big component. Like in Hades, you don't know what kinds of like power ups you're going to get. You don't know what rooms you're going to go into.
Mm.
Lots of it's just randomized, and it makes going back over and over and over again a lot more fun, kind of like clicking refresh on your pens, right? It's just like
Yeah, yeah.
it
Oh,
has
cool.
a much longer playtime. This is
I'll have to have
neat.
a look. It's
Yeah,
very
this is,
cool,
this
isn't
is
it?
really cool, Aaron. Thank you for sharing this. And then
Yeah, definitely.
demo scene is an international computer art subculture focused on producing demos. Self-contained, sometimes extremely small computer programs that produce audiovisual presentations. That's
Oh,
cool.
it's
That's pretty
like
neat.
proto code pen
Yeah, right. That's pretty much.
kind of thing.
Yeah,
That's
that's
cool though.
cool.
Yeah, yeah. Nice. What's it called? Demo scene. That picture's
Demo
super
scene.
cool. Can
Yeah,
you
right.
click the
Yeah,
whoa, what is
that's cool.
that?
That's like a
That
galaxy
looks
render. That's awesome.
yeah, that
Um,
looks like I would get very confused by the code to make that.
yeah, yeah, and there's excuse me. There's some of these where people like I remember there was like a video where like the entire video is this like huge thing fit on like 64 KB of space. I have no
Yeah.
idea how that works, but
My God, it's mad,
it's
isn't
yeah, lots of
it?
cool stuff out there.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
what's the one game? Creative Ocean asked. Hey Tom, thank you for coming through. And Andy,
Hey
yes, you
Tom.
are a horse. Your wheat is in the mail, or you might have to go pick it up at your local farm. But either way, you are a valued member of this community. Yeah, Tom, I'm not sure what one game you mean. Is it Hades and it was done in Python, by the way. So I'm going back and I'm losing context. Is the Python thing the one that's the Kickstarter? I'm not sure. And then Tanner, absolutely, Hades is worth buying on Switch. That's where I first played it. It's very low intensity or whatever, so the Switch can more than handle it. It's pretty much the same on Switch as it is on PC. Like I play both. I haven't noticed the difference.
Is it low intensity in terms of vibe as well as performance, or is it high intensity vibe?
It's pretty high intensity. Yeah, it's yeah, you have to be on your toes for it for sure, but it doesn't stress me out like
Nice.
some other games.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Well,
know.
sometimes
I love
a
it.
little bit of stress is
Yeah,
quite nice in a way.
I'm happy to have I mean, I've actually streamed Hades a few times on this channel months ago, but yeah, I could gush about Hades. Absolutely my favorite game of 2020.
Oh,
Probably
okay.
still favorite game. I've done like
Yeah.
110 runs or something, but enough about Hades and about me and my video games. Yeah, so back to quad trees. I
Yeah.
just think this is such a cool look. I think there's a lot that you can do with this if you customize the color palette, if you change the shapes, like this kind of style. Let me get back to like one of your finished versions. This kind of style with like half circles and all those other
Yeah.
kinds of shapes have been really common. I feel like here we go. So
There's a proper code pen somewhere that I did where it looks sort of like real. I don't know. It's probably you probably have to scroll a little bit because I've really been spamming the pens today. Oh, there it is, bottom right.
this one,
Yeah, that was kind of the original
yeah,
one that
yeah.
I did, which is kind of like a little bit more
But there's also like
polished.
there's also other shapes that people use for these kinds of like grid shape arrangements, and maybe Pentagram has some where
Yeah,
like
they've got
they'll
some good
do like
ones.
half circle rings, right?
Yeah,
Half filled in circles and a couple other shapes. I just see it
yeah,
as a kind of a popular design motif right now, or maybe like a year or two ago. I'm not sure.
yeah,
Um, yeah,
yeah. I think
they've got some other variations here, but yeah. So like
yeah. Sorry.
I'm just saying like the core concept here can be used and and utilized in a bunch of different ways. So it could be used for your brand, but also if people use just more like sharp shapes and like cool
Oh yeah,
colors, you can use it
yeah.
for a totally different brand. So like it's versatile.
Oh, for sure.
It's not just for this. So
Yeah, like my examples are always like very basic. Really, it's more about the algorithm or the technique behind it, and then other people can take it. I don't like to give too much because everyone wants to put their own spin on things. I've kind of
that's
discovered. Like
cool.
I think I started out doing really detailed tutorials or whatever, where the end result would be like quite fixed, but I've kind of realized it's much better just to give someone a foundation to create something that they can put their own spin on. So all of my examples are quite simple, but I'm sure people can make some really cool stuff with the quad tree grid. So I'm super excited to see what people end up coming up with.
I think that's a really great point because yeah, like when a tutorial kind of brings you to the finish line, um,
Yeah,
it's definitely harder for you to think creatively like I just kind of did. Not that I had like a deep creative insight, but just the fact that I was like, oh, I can see several paths leading from here,
yeah,
right?
sure,
Where
yeah,
if it's a full tutorial on how to make it look a specific way and build out the whole site, it's tougher for me to see paths leading from there when it feels like we've arrived at the destination and we're kind of like locked in our ways now.
yeah, definitely. I just think it's a nicer way of approaching it. Yeah, just letting people kind of do their thing. Seems a bit more interesting to me.
Yeah,
Ah, these guys. Yeah.
these. These. Yeah, I don't have it up anymore just because I redesigned the OBS stream here. You can see it's like to people that are new here. Welcome. This is a new layout. You haven't seen it before, but to people who have returned, you also haven't seen it before. So this is kind of new. Just kind of whipped this up the last couple days.
It looks lovely.
Well, thank you. I will pay you to say that if
Just get in contact with the person that called you
You
earlier
know what
to
I'm
get
gonna
me on the
do?
stream.
I'm going to hold on, give me one sec. Let's see this.
Oh,
This looks lovely.
hey, look at that.
There we go. So now we're going to, yes, we're
Whoa.
gonna put George. Oh no, I didn't mean to do that. Oh no,
How are
trying
you
to.
doing this?
This is all OBS. This is
What?
OBS. It's not fancy
It is
or
fancy.
clever. It's.
It's,
I
well,
appreciate that,
I don't
but
know what's
I
going on right
needed an
now.
endorsement, so this is now an endorsement from George. It's gonna go right there. If
Awesome.
anyone wants to endorse anything I do, I'm gonna put it right on there.
I quite like that. Yeah, that's cool.
This looks lovely, yeah. So, some
It
people put
does.
their endorsements on their websites. I'm just gonna put it right on the stream. It might cover. I'm gonna do it kind of like developers do with their stickers on their laptop. The stream will be entirely covered in several weeks, so long as I get enough endorsements,
Yeah.
with just people saying nice things about it. It's gonna be a yearbook basically. That's never gonna leave the stream. I love that by the time Charlie wrote that, it was already gone. I,
It's
I already I
gone.
already hit it.
It's gone.
I appreciate that. That's
It's
high
all
praise,
right.
Charles. Cool. So while I'm talking about the stream, we can come back to the paint in a second. Folks, people, hi. I just want to take a second and say we have a Discord now. I've been wanting a place to kind of have. Wow. Thank you so much for becoming a horse Stitched Attack. Welcome. Thank you. I've wanted a place for us to kind of talk before and after streams, for you to be able to share code pens. Maybe George drops in, shares a code pen that he made, if he wants to do that. Maybe shares an article that he likes. Whoa, Silver. Oh, Charlie, thank you
Whoa,
so
look at
much for
that.
gifting that sub. You are so kind, man. Thank you. I really appreciate you, Charles.
That
It's
horse,
great to have you.
majestic.
It's majestic, right?
Wow.
That's the incentive that people get to see. Like, I want to see that horse again, so they get the subs. Thank you, Charles. I genuinely appreciate that. I hope you join the Discord. I know that everyone has a Discord at this point, and that was my hesitation around it for a while. But basically, I wanted to just make sure that we had a place to talk before and after Component Carousel, before and after the casual streams, but also so that we can kind of talk about code pens, about creative design, front end development, whatever you want to chat about. But also, we have a great feedback loop for Component Carousel, which is the show that we have tomorrow. We have Stephanie Eccles on. It's gonna be fantastic. She is just brilliant. She got a really cool thing cooking up. But basically, we are going to be helping each other kind of come up with fun ideas. If you saw Steve Gardner's burger drums that he made, that was an idea from Stephen Shaw that they were trying to think of what to make. Stephen Shaw suggested the burger drums. So Steve Gardner made them, and the whole theme of heavy metal burger joint was from Andrew Rubin, who's a guest next week. So this whole thing is just people passing ideas and bouncing ideas off each other. So I want to bring that collaboration to a Discord. So I would love for you to bring your crazy, wacky, zany ideas and let other people run with them or whatever. So yeah, the burger jumps are fantastic, right? Yeah. So
Amazing.
don't worry, Tanner, because Charlie, that's a really good idea. I need to put that on the bot. So right now it's just frontend.horse/chat, and that'll give you an invite link. But yeah, I would love to have people drop by. I'm still working on it and everything, but I figured let's get it out there, and you can help me shape it and build on it. But anyway, enough about that. Sorry for wasting George's time on that little
Oh no,
spiel, but
I
just wanted to kind
love
of say.
I love all that stuff. Like there's nothing nicer, is there, than when everyone's kind of sharing different ideas and kind of bouncing off different things. There's been a few times in various Slacks and stuff where I've kind of made a pen and then someone else has made another pen that's much better than my pen, and, and then maybe I make another one, and kind of it's a nice energy. It's something that I think is often missing from the web world now,
Yeah.
the worldwide
Yeah.
worldwide
And not every
but yeah.
Discord is super friendly or welcoming. I'm hoping that just like the community that we've built on these streams, the people that I've had on the streams, like you, like Cassie, like Steve, like Shaw, right? Like all those people, just making a friendly, fun community.
For
So,
sure. Yeah.
um,
It's going to be great.
yeah,
I'm in.
you actually are. We are actually having
I
this
actually am
call
in. I've
in
joined.
the
Yeah.
Discord. So that's the other thing is that we're going to try to do calls through the Discord so people can drop in and drop out. That's another thing I didn't mention is that George is going to leave us in about 23 minutes or so. Is my understanding at any time if you want. Anytime I
Is
say
that the
a dumb,
time?
I mean that's my understanding. But
Oh, okay, cool. Nice. Yeah,
whenever
I
you
have
need
no
to
idea.
go. But so basically,
Yeah.
I'm going to continue streaming, and I kind of want to make it so that these streams can be like I'm streaming for a bit, and then George pings me, or George is in the chat and he goes, "Hey, I would love to hop on and work on that with you." And I say, "Great," and it's just an easy thing rather than a whole to do, a whole scheduling, running it through his PR person. I don't want to do that. So just making it easy and smooth. The Discord's going to help out a lot with that stuff. So
That's gonna be awesome.
all that aside, George, what the heck's going on here? How are you doing this with CSS? I don't understand.
Yeah.
I kind of understand, but I genuinely don't fully understand. So
Yeah. So this is a CSS Paint API worklet, which sort of falls under the Houdini umbrella of stuff, which is just lots of very cool browser APIs for doing things that are just super cool. What you do is you kind of load in something this little worklet, which is essentially just a JavaScript file,
okay,
and then you can call paint in your CSS. So if you go into the CSS above, just to
okay.
find out where it gets called, there should
Is
be
it
like,
so?
oh, there it is. So
So
yeah,
this, whoa, that's it
it's super cool. So you pass in some custom properties, which you sort
here,
of,
right? So you're putting
yeah,
CSS
that's right.
variables.
Yeah, and then the paint worklet, you register those custom properties in the worklet so it kind of knows about them. And then
Got it.
so it can kind of, it's like, oh, I don't know why I'm looking up. I'm imagining I'm the worklet and the custom properties are up there
Oh,
because
I think
that's where they
everyone
are in the
understood
code.
that you're the worklet in this scenario. Don't worry,
So yeah,
we're with you in this one man play. I'm
I'm the
vested.
worklet.
I'm
Yeah.
in. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
And I'm like, oh, custom properties that I can use, and it kind of like it grabs them, pulls them in, and then when they change, it knows that they've changed and it can update and stuff. And so it's really cool. If you can you open up the I've probably got a repo for this, so I can quickly show you
Yeah,
how the code works.
should I just type George Francis or George does code GitHub?
Yeah, it might come up. I don't know.
Hey, Kevin Powell, welcome, sir. CSS master himself. Thank you for stopping by and for becoming a horse. Really appreciate it. George does code. Have I
Oh,
been?
that's me.
There we go. I've been here. So we're just checking
Ah,
out some of George's awesome Houdini Fleck patterns. Let me actually drop that in chat real quick. If you haven't seen these are super neat. Just a lot of fun. And George was very, very kind and actually made one for this channel. I had it on last week, but it was a bit noisy. Not any fault of your thing. That's
too
just
intense.
yeah. But like you didn't design it for my channel. You just made me a background, and so
Yeah.
I put it here for last week because I love it. I just had to make a design change. That's all. All
Yeah,
right. So
man.
where are we going?
Happens.
Fleck Worklet.
That's the one. Yep, that's
Cool.
it. So yeah, I can't see any. I'll see if I can remember
Let
how it
me.
works.
Thank you. No, thank you for saying that.
It's really small. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's better. Yeah, so the worklet is a class, ESX class. This one is called Fleck. And this is where, you know, when I was pretending to be the worklet a minute ago and I was looking for the
This is you
that's
pulling these
it.
things down. Yep.
That's it, doing it
Yep.
for real. Yeah, for sure. And each worklet has a paint function,
Got
which
it.
paints this. I won't get too into it because this is just going to get too weird.
Yeah.
But this is just the function that runs to essentially paint the stuff onto the element or whatever. In this instance, I'm using like a pseudo random number generator, so you can pass in a seed, and you always get the same pattern back if it's the same seed.
Right.
But this actually it kind of has a double benefit because this paint function runs every time the custom properties change or the element dimension changes. So if you have like a bunch of random values firing off in here, when it resizes, the layout is just going to go absolutely crazy, which in some, or they're like the picture is going to go crazy, which in some instances is kind of cool, I guess. But
But not the
if
intention.
not always, and for folks who might have like sensitivity to motion and stuff like
For
that,
sure.
that could get pretty weird, like not nice. So yeah, so I'm using a seedable random number here generator here, pseudo random number generator to generate the random values, and then to make the little flex, I do my classic thing of
A
plotting
blob.
points around a circle and then drawing a catmull rom spline through all of the points and kind of just pulling them in a little bit. It's just a super easy way of
So
making
are
natural
are they essentially a
textures.
bunch, just like 1,000 of your classic like the George
Yeah.
blobs? So that's really no. I mean like we kind of no. We actually did make a blob for your pen on Component Carousel.
We
Here,
did.
so George was on Component Carousel. If you're new here, it is the show that we have every Wednesday. We're having it tomorrow, where someone comes on and they build a component based around a theme. And George made a team generator theme, bouncy Component Carousel. And so here's the meet our team, and you can hire and fire people in order to generate more new people,
Yeah.
or more balloon heads. And so the little background is the blob, right?
Yeah. Those are kind of lemony shaped blobs. They kind of go like this, don't they? I don't know why. I probably did something wrong
I don't know.
on the street. I don't know
They're
today. They look
they're
good though. Yeah.
they look cool to me. But so basically so these are just that taken to a bigger level, kind of
A
a
slightly different way. Yeah.
okay, got it. Okay,
Yeah, but I mean,
very cool.
they are just blobs, really. I've got a worklet that does blobs now as well.
Oh,
Of
really?
course, yeah, it's on my site on the homepage.
I
You can
want like
grab the pen.
I want you to release and that this isn't just like most of what I say is nonsense, and I'm partly kidding. I genuinely want like a library from you of your like so you've got your own library where oh yeah the generative utils. I
Oh
think that
yeah,
if you like properly like or if no if you like document it and
yeah,
advertise it a little bit, I think people
yeah.
would be all over this because like right now people are kind of
That'd be
like
cool.
grabbing it here and there, but George,
Yeah,
I don't know. I think that
look at those docs. Beautiful
I mean
docs.
I don't know how to install it is kind of the issue. Just tell me how to install it.
Yeah, it exists. It's just there. You just grab
Yeah.
it, and then
No.
it's
And
you don't.
I'm not trying to I don't have any packages out there. I'm not trying to crap on you. I'm just saying the stuff you do is awesome and I think other people
Oh, thank you.
would love to
I
pick it
love
up
that
and
idea.
use it. So,
Well, one idea actually building on what you said that I've had on the site is to sort of have like a tool kit or like a generative toy box sort of thing, which would
yeah.
be all of those, everything from that library, but each with its own individual page with
Yeah.
actual proper documentation
I remember you
and
mentioning that.
examples and stuff. Yeah, and I thought that would just be kind of like a cool thing to do.
I think it'd be great.
Yeah, I was gonna have a
Your
little look
site
at
is
that at some
so
point.
nice.
Thank you.
I'm gonna brag again. I got little sneak peeks here and there when you were building it, and it just got better and better. And it's
Oh, thank you.
yeah,
It
the
was,
writing is all top notch. Please, if you're not already, subscribe to George. Yeah,
I'm yet
do
to
we
send an
have?
email, but I will do eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm working up to it.
Just give George your email, and maybe one day he will, say hi. So I would definitely do that. We've got some chat I've been ignoring. I'm so sorry.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
George, sorry, Tom said, "Oh, it was George's last week." Thought it was just a crazy coincidence. Um, I did see that earlier, and I've been thinking that one through. I'm not sure
I think it was
what
the pattern. Maybe it was the
it's a
pattern.
pattern,
I don't
maybe
know.
not sure. And
It
yeah,
could be.
looks like 90% of my docs. Same here, absolutely. Like I am.
The classic.
I don't even have a glass house. I have like a saran wrap house. Mine is like just plastic wrap. I'm not trying to be like George. You should really fix this up. It's kind of crappy. No, it's like no. You actually have a good thing here. I think people would
I
love
love
to
that.
use it. Um,
Yeah, I
and there's
love
some
that idea.
so Tom says there's some solid gold in that utils script.
Thank you, Tom.
What do you like to use in that util script, Tom? I'm just so that other people know, because I don't know if George is going to toot his own horn on what's so good about that. The spline, yeah, the spline that,
Oh
that
yeah,
we used on stream that time was really handy. Yeah, I totally agree.
I love that function. Yeah, that's pretty much all I do. Just draw splines through different things.
But you like we've talked about this before, where you have nailed a style, and I like if we never talk again, I could scroll CodePen a year from now and spot your work immediately. I just
Yes.
like
Thank you. That's good.
and
That's
and
great
it's a
to
great
hear.
style. A lot of people fall into like a style where it's like that's a bad style. Your style is also really nice to
Thank
look at.
you.
El Suxo,
Thanks.
hey, welcome. They
Hey.
ask, how did you make the spots appear in the same place? The C just for that, I guess. Yes, the flex.
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly right. The fact that you can refresh it. So right now, El Suxo, if we were to change, it's fun to say, right? So if you
It's
look
great to say.
at, so let's see, pink. I think pink is this one, right? So
Yeah.
if we go 5, if I just type 5 and wait for it to refresh, I'm putting my mouse on that pink dot. Uh, yeah,
It's
see
gone.
that pink dot
Yeah.
changed because the whole thing moved. It's a great way. Like I think when you're doing generative art, using a seed is a really good practice because you
Yeah.
find one, you're like, that's perfect, and then you never see it again unless you have that
I
seed
know. Yeah.
saved.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I
I
did
only
a
just learned
front.
that.
I'm sorry.
Oh no, I only just learned about the whole seeding thing. It was
Got it.
it was an article. I think it's I can't
Got it.
remember where I
Oh,
read it. Jake
look at
Archibald, I
this.
think.
We just happen to
Ah,
have
look.
Kevin in the chat. Kevin, you're on the front page of Front End Masters. Very cool. I wonder if Kevin has a course in this. I was just gonna pull up Matt D. There we go. I don't know how to say his last name. Are you familiar with him?
Yeah, definitely familiar.
Yeah.
I also don't know how to pronounce. I don't want to butcher the pronunciation though, so I'm
De
just gonna.
Delorier. I'm not gonna get it. Yeah, Kevin, that's super cool. All right, I'm gonna open that. So yeah, Matt D. Sorry, Matt.
Oh,
I'm generally I work at a company that is mostly French, and I've just learned to just kind of I'm just
I
gonna
was
leave that
gonna
to my
say.
colleagues. So these front end master courses are for some reason my copy paste hasn't been working, and I don't know why. That's like such a basic part of computing. It's driving me nuts. So I almost pasted your writing again. It could have been way worse. But Matt's courses taught me a bunch about generative art and just how to kind of go through these things. And
Cool.
his library that he has, it's kind of like what I'm encouraging you to do. He's got his own like JavaScript. It's like a mini generative framework. And
Cool.
Canvas Sketch CLI. Yeah, so it's called Canvas Sketch,
Ah, cool.
and
I might have seen this before.
it's
I
really
must have
nice.
seen it, I think.
It
Yeah.
it takes care of a
Yeah.
lot of stuff.
I know this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
This is cool.
it's
I love this.
it's just a nice way to get up and running when you're doing Canvas and generative art type stuff. So
Totally. Yeah,
highly
that's super
recommend those
cool.
courses, and anything that Matt
Yeah.
D does.
Yeah, gotta check those out. That looks amazing.
Yeah.
Nice.
Um, so Aaron says, I'd love to see something generative done with these illustrations. You know what? I've also
Yes.
seen people do generative stuff with who was it that did the generative hello or no, not hello. What's Pablo Stanley, right? Pablo Stanley. Once you
Uh-huh.
see his work, you'll kind of be familiar, I'm sure.
Yeah, I know
He's the one
this.
that did the design astrologist videos last year. If you saw those,
Oh, I think I did see those.
very very funny person. But also, he set up Blush last year around this time, I believe. I remember putting it in one of my first articles.
Cool.
But basically, Blush has a bunch of these kinds of people, and I remember someone did these like interchangeable heads where you can use.
Nice.
I'm trying to think of the other person library, if anyone remembers. It was pretty good and it's free. So
I
I don't
don't know.
remember. I don't know. I'm surprised it's not here. Humans, that's it. So humans is one of them, and then he might not have them all. I don't know. Man, he has a lot of work. Oh,
What's that one? That's
this is
really cool.
amazing.
Butts.
This is amazing. Yeah, it's a collection of butts. I'm gonna get like banned, but sure. So funny.
Oh,
Yeah.
surely you could
I
line
genuinely don't
drawings
know.
of butts.
I don't. I mean, they're doing hot tub streams, so I hope so. I'd be
Yeah, it's
really
fine.
frustrated if we get a strike for that. But yeah,
It's
publish
not
them.
real, man.
You
It's
never
just a
know.
drawing.
You
Yeah, I
never
know,
know.
right? Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
you never know. Yeah, it's true.
Oh man.
That's awesome.
Yeah. No. So George, it's super great to have you. Honestly.
No, thanks for having me on. It's
I
been
would
very nice.
I would love to team up and work on some UI stuff at some point, because
Yeah.
I think like a lot of people think about you in this sense.
Knitting.
Yeah. I mean, when I think George Francis, I think needlepoint. I'm not good at word association though, so that might be more on me. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
That could be
I'd
me.
love to do so.
I love this one so much. It's so good.
Yeah, it's all SVG as well, which is quite. I just love like it's clean. Everything's like such a clean
Yeah.
line with SVG, and when you start getting it like wobbly and stuff, it's kind of quite. I think that's quite a cool combination, sort of everything being
it
perfect
really
and
is.
vectory.
It really is. It's a lot of fun. If you haven't run your mouse over this one, please spend the next hour doing that, because it's really fun. This is really satisfying. This one, where is it?
Let's see if it works. Oh yeah,
it just took a minute. There you go.
It's very bad code,
but the colors are great.
Thank you. Yeah, if you you should pop if the chat probably might already know, but Bridget Riley's a really cool artist and a big inspiration for any generative work that like I do. There we go. Yeah, definitely worth checking out. If you could just grab the Tate link or something, or some images. Yeah, it just does lots of really interesting pattern work, and I believe she would kind of measure everything by hand with rulers and do all of the maths and whatnot by hand, and then fill it all in at the end. So it's kind of like it's much more analog, but it's super cool stuff.
I wonder where this is, because this looks like something I saw at the MoMA. I sound like an art snob.
Quite possibly.
Maybe not.
Yeah. No, oh, I love this. The little I'm pointing on my screen, like you can see it.
Yeah, sorry. I realized
Such
this
a grandpa.
is not great for everyone else. I need to make this bigger. Yeah.
Yeah, look at that.
That's in London. Beautiful. I have not been to London, so I am a liar if I say I saw that. These are really cool. I really appreciate because like I did design. Christopher's here. Hey Christopher, good to see you. Thanks for coming through.
Hey.
I did design as a past career, but
nice.
Before I taught, and so like I love your combination of appreciating code and design and finding like how to make them overlap. It's cool, and I think that design is basically art with a function, right? Like it's like art with that purpose behind it.
Yeah.
Not just to make something kind of pretty or but to do it for a reason.
Yeah, it solves a problem, doesn't it?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, we should totally do some UI tinkering sometime.
Yes.
That'd be great. That'd be really cool. I'd love to do that.
Because just the way that you've laid out your blog posts and everything, you have such a great eye for UI.
Thank you.
That I would love to steal it for a bit and put it to my use or to the use of the community. So it'd be fun. What do you think, chat? Should we have George back sometime? We're gonna say goodbye to him.
Everyone's like, no.
Yeah, everyone's just like, no, how do you do thumbs down emojis? This guy's so rude. He's loud. He's obnoxious. No more George ever. Christopher, you know what?
That's it.
Unfortunately, Christopher, I gave her a veto over everyone else. I don't know why I did that. I thought it was a good call back then.
I guess this is it then.
Oh well, George. Can we do the UI stuff now
say
then,
goodbye.
just real quick?
Just real quick.
Just quick, make me a UI. Fix my garbage, please. Can you?
Yeah, I'll make it look so much worse.
Oh,
really
actually,
quickly.
Charlie says that you are taking over, and now this is the front end George stream now.
Oh man, rough stuff.
It's cool. I'm done with it anyway. It's fine. You can have it. All right. Well, George, I'm gonna let you go. We're also gonna find out just how well this whole like a person disappears from the stream and the stream thing goes, because I haven't done this before. But yeah, George, just make sure you close your OBS Ninja window, and we should be copacetic. All right.
Everyone's going to be watching me eat my spaghetti in a minute.
Wait. Can we do that? Because that's content, baby. That is solid content. I'm sure there's a channel for that. Anyway, I'm sure Elle is waiting for you. So I'll let you go. Thank you, George.
Cool.
Take care,
All
friend.
right. See you later, folks. Bye.